Welcome to Back Talk Live. I'm Tom Hardigree. Have a special program tonight. I was off last week and for Thanksgiving. Hope all of y'all had a good Thanksgiving. I have my son on tonight. My son went to work in Germany. Some of y'all know that. I got him tonight to tell about his experience, to tell about the company that he is working for, Herring Automotive. And that's not how you say it in German, but I'm not a German. But we're going to talk about that for a while. You can call in and ask questions if you like, because, there are a lot of job opportunities, and we're going to be talking about that. And we're just going to be talking about a lot of things. But you can certainly call in. You can change the subject if you like. But this is going to be one of those rare shows that I do. This not controversial. It's just a feel-good show. But this is the feel-good time of year. We'll be right back. Hey, Lee, what you doing?
My air's quit working. I'm going to call McGee Heating and Air.
Wait a minute. You got a screwdriver? I know a good bit about this. I can walk you through it. Won't take but a second. Should have called McGee Heating and Air.
McGee Heating and Air. Comfort you can count on.
Okay, welcome back to Back Talk Live. And it's, the season to be jolly, as you can tell. Somebody's been doing some decorating around here. Philip, welcome to Back Talk Live. Does anybody see the resemblance? Philip looks somewhat like me. He's a lot smarter than I am. Welcome.
Thank you. It's
welcome
good to be
home.
here.
I'm glad to have you home.
Real good to be here.
I want to tell you, folks, Philip, this is what happened. I had heard, because of, Back Talk Live and my involvement in the community, I had heard about this new company that was coming here, Herring Automotive. Going to be up in Livonia. Didn't know anything about it, but I talked to Dwayne Dye. He's the director of the IBA, the Industrial Building Authority, and asked him what Philip would have to do in order to put in an application. He told me what he had to do. Philip went through the process, was hired. Now, here's what he was hired to do. Of course, they didn't have a factory, hadn't even started digging the dirt yet. Philip went to Germany. He's been in Germany for close to 3.5 years. He was training. Now, let me just tell you folks something. There are other people Philip's not the only one. There are other people that went over there to do this, and I can't tell you how beneficial this has been for him and for other people that have gone. He has learned so much. It's not, he's learned a lot about making these parts, and we'll talk about that, but he's also learned to speak German. He can speak German. There's never been a Hardigree that could speak a foreign language. There's never been a Hardigree that can play a musical instrument. Philip can play guitar, but he speaks German. He's learned a lot about the company. He has seen so much of Europe. He's been all over the place. I went over there and spent about 10 days with him in Austria and Switzerland myself. That was another side of me. I never would have gone over that had it not been for Philip being there. He's just had all kinds of wonderful experiences, and we're going to be talking about how you can have the same experience if you're young enough, and that you don't want to be my age and go, because it'd be kind of weird. But anyway, we're going to be talking about some of that stuff. Now Philip, have you liked it over there? Have you enjoyed it?
Absolutely, and you're absolutely right that it has done me a world of good, professionally and personally. Being able to travel, like you said, I've been to Barcelona, Paris, London, Amsterdam, basically all of the hot cities in Europe over the past 3.5 years, and I would never have had that opportunity if it wasn't for Herring. And fun aside, professionally, I went from basically nothing to something really fulfilling, and it's absolutely done me a world of good.
Yeah, your job when you get to Livonia is an important job.
Yep. So I will be a production planner when we get to Livonia, among other things, helping out with whatever's needed in the beginning, because we are a startup. So we'll all be helping each other and picking up the loose ends wherever they may be. But yep, I ended up as a production planner after rotating through several departments, which is the whole goal of the global rotational program that we have there, is not just to focus on one area and stay there. You rotate through various departments and you really find what you're the best at, and you're observed, obviously, and your managers notice where your strengths are and they push you in certain directions, and you end up in a department that not only you like to work in, but that you're good at. So yeah, it's done me a heck of a lot of good.
Yeah, and you'll be coming back here probably next month for good, right? Probably.
That's right. It's planned, but as these things are with startups, you never really know. But it is planned, and there are actually a group of folks coming over in a week or two. That is definite. They'll be coming over to start sorting out some of our first machines that are on the way now. They're on a ship in the Atlantic somewhere. They'll be arriving in the next week or two.
How many people do you all plan to have working in the plant? Well, long term and sort of initially. You know, what's the schedule like? Do you know?
Yep. So initially, we're going to come over with around 25, and we should expand to, I would say, 50 or 60 within the first quarter of 2019. First half of 2019, sorry. And within the next 5 years, we're hoping to be around 400 to 500 employees.
Well, that'll be what. All right, what do you make? What does Herring produce? That's
a good question. So, Herring is a premier supplier of precision turned parts.
Okay, I'm glad to know. What is that?
So a turn part, and there might be some machinists out there watching that know what a turn part is, but for your average person, I didn't know what one was either. I had no idea what Herring made when I went over there. Mm-hmm. But what a turn part is, it's a length of steel, about 3 meters, 10 feet long, is fed through a lathe, a CNC machine, a computer-controlled turning machine. And the way that basically works is that length of steel is run through, and it's spun at a very, very fast rate of speed. Mm-hmm. Then there are these tools that come in from different angles, and they cut into that piece of metal, and what you're left with is a part, and I'll show you what one looks like.
Oh, yeah, you said you.
So you have a 3 meter long piece of steel, and the steel can vary depending on the need for the part. It's fed through the machine. These tools come in, and they cut into the metal, and what you're left with is a basic form. And then there are additional machines that put certain features on the part, certain finishes, certain edges, sometimes certain holes and different features depending on what the customer's ordered. If you want to, yeah, I can show you briefly, and I want to show you a little overview. I've got certain parts that I brought with me to show. This particular guy is a very, very simple part that we make. This is going to be the first part that we produce in America, and it is involved in fuel injector systems. Sometime in 2019, we're going to start producing this part, which is also involved with fuel injector systems. It's a little more advanced than this one, and eventually it could be, and I don't know, how things will work or which contracts we'll receive. Nobody does, but eventually it could be that we progress into more complicated designs like these. They might not look like much to a layman, but these are actually very complicated and difficult to engineer, and the amount that we're able to produce is what really makes us the strongest supplier really in the world for these type of parts.
Wow, that's really something.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty cool. What we're going to do is we're going to take a little break and come back and talk some more about Herring Automotive. This is just fascinating to me, and it will be to you. Hang around, we'll be right back.
Some things are just better left to the professionals. So when it's time for home improvement, make sure you call Herring Gutter and Insulation. Whether it's window replacement, gutters, insulation, or siding, Herring Gutter and Insulation can make your home look new again. Call today for a free estimate or visit us online at herringgutter.com.
Leroy, this painting is tough business. Look, I got a spot on my shirt. Yeah.
Hi folks, we're at the Dairy Queen of Hartwell to give breakfast eaters a voice. So how'd you fellas like your Dairy Queen breakfast?
Oh, they're mighty fine.
Excellent.
The best breakfast in town.
Good breakfast.
How do you like high taxes?
I don't like them too good.
I don't like them in the local level or any other part of government.
Don't like them at all.
I don't like high taxes.
4 out of 4 breakfast eaters choose Dairy Queen food over high taxes. And Ray, how do you like Back Talk Live?
Back Talk Live.
Yeah. There you go. There's some of those precision parts. That is really. So I got a text message from a friend of mine that said, "Wow." Philip, all right. What is it about Herring Automotive? I mean, why can't you make that in a machine shop? I mean, what is it that's so special about these parts that Herring is able to do?
Well, you could make these parts in a machine shop if you've got enough time and enough patience. The difference, the big advantage Herring has over other producers is, number one, our capacity to produce a lot of these parts. Mm-hmm. The amount that we produce is far and above almost all of our competitors worldwide. In our German factory alone, and we have one in Poland and China as well, in Germany alone, we produce about 500,000 parts per day, which is a lot. Now, this particular part, for example, a machinist might look at that and say, I could make that. And he probably could, but he would need some pretty high-tech machines. This part is not just cut, it's not just one particular type of metal. Part of it is welded and made from a different type of metal. This part is pressed, and it's taken lots and lots of engineering to get to this point. The tolerances that we're able to keep on these parts is also what sets us apart. A micron is 1,000th of a millimeter, and a human hair is anywhere from 70 to 100 microns, the diameter of a human hair. Our tolerances that we're able to hold on this mass production scale are down to around 5 microns, so much thinner than a human hair. Most machine shops, if they could get down to that tolerance, they can't hold it producing 500,000 parts a day, which is what sets us apart, which establishes us as a worldwide name. This particular part, this is one that we're very, very proud of. It's going into the newest generation of fuel injectors, and I'm not allowed to say a whole lot about it, but I can say that the worldwide demand for this part is around 90 million per year, and of those 90 million, Herring will be responsible for 50 million of them. So,
oh, wow.
If that tells you anything about our capabilities.
Yeah. You've gotten a whole lot smarter than you used to be. I would take a minute to say something about Herring. You know my attitude about government and how I think government does everything wrong. Government, in this case, did something right. I've told you before, I didn't know why at a time when America was de-industrializing, why we were building an industrial park. I didn't get that. I get it now. I'm willing to admit when I was wrong. Jack Edmonds from Hartwell, y'all know him, used to be the president of the bank up here, was one of the pioneers of this thing. Dwayne Dye, I can't tell you how good a job that guy does in bringing industry in. The governor's office, I don't know anything about that, but I know that they have something to do with this. But it's one time when government worked. It's one thing that government did right in Hart County is with this industrial development, this industrial park and all the rest. This is the kind of thing that works out very well and can be done when you have the right people doing the right job. And speaking about all that, I took a tour today of the factory. You know, they're building it, but this thing, I'm telling you, this thing is huge. It's unreal. They've got in a good bit of the factory, they got hardwood floors going down. Hardwood floor. Clean is not. I mean, that doesn't describe this place. It is beautiful. It is huge. They told me where everything was going to be, and I don't remember a lot of it, but they took me on this fabulous tour. This place is great. It's going to be a great place for people to work if you want to get a job there, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit too. But tell me, Philip, Mr. Knoll that was showing me around today he showed me where the academy, described something about the academy to me. Can you tell me what the academy is, and who would go to the academy? Would that be just management people, or would that be who all?
No, that would be anyone who comes to work for Herring would go through our academy in the future. We're not going to have the academy directly upon startup, but within a certain time frame, and I can't give you an exact time, I don't know it, but for example, in Germany, we have an academy that all students rotate through. All Americans that come to work for Herring, they spend the first 3 months in the academy, and what you do there is you learn the basics of tolerance when it comes to these parts. You're sitting there filing. I personally didn't have to do this because I'm not involved with the production, but I've witnessed it. You sit there and you file, and it's sort of aggravating for some of them, but you sit there and file, and you really learn what the value of a millimeter is by doing that. And you work on some of our more basic machines, and you get a good feel for what you're doing if you have no experience doing it otherwise. And in addition to that, obviously you're taking German classes. That's a requirement for the program. We have to learn the German language. It's our company language. Our Chinese colleagues, our Polish guys, we all speak German to each other. So while you're in the academy, you're taking intensive German classes, which you continue to take the entire time you're over there, but especially that first 3 months, it's crucial that you get that immediate immersion into the culture and language.
Well, now, who would learn German? And would people that go to work in the Herring Hartwell plant or Livonia plant learn German?
Not everyone. We're looking for 2 different types of people for the plant. We're obviously not going to be able to send everyone who works at Herring to Germany for 3 years. That wouldn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense for everyone to move to Germany for 3 years. But for those that it does, those that are in the right life situation, and it does make sense to go over there, we're looking for folks, to spend the 3 years rotating through these departments and this intensive training and learn the language, this and that, which we can talk more about later. But we're also looking for folks just to start up and work for us directly in the States like any other normal factory would. And it would help, obviously, if they studied a little German. There's going to be certain instances, certain computer programs, certain verbiage on the machines that are in German that it wouldn't hurt to know a little bit. But that wouldn't be a requirement for every single employee, obviously.
Now, I always, Philip, take time to read the text messages that I get. I got one here that says, Philip rocks. I know you are proud. That was my sister. And then Claire, Nancy, and James Lee and I are watching. So proud of him. That would be my brother. So
Yep.
Thank y'all, family. Yeah, this thing, I can't. If you are looking for a job, I'm telling you, this company would be a place that you ought to apply to. And Philip, we'll talk about where they go to do that. But if you're, let's say that you're young and single, maybe. You don't have a sweetheart back home that you just gotta, you just can't just stand to leave. You need to think about going to Germany and getting involved in this program. I can see how, if you're 45 years old, married, got 3 kids, it might be a, logistics problem for you. I don't know how that works, but certainly in Philip's case, young and single, it worked out great. And I just can't tell you how great. If you see me sometimes, let me know. Ask me and I'll let you know. But and from the looks of the plant and from what I know about the company, if you want a job, making these things, you need to find out how do you do that anyway?
Yep.
Where would you go to get a job?
So I think we actually have a PowerPoint slide I'd like to run through briefly. It's got a couple photos. It's a real short slide. It doesn't take long.
Let me do this text, though.
Yep.
So great to see you, Philip. Congrats, and so proud of your accomplishment. That's Colleen and Carl.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thanks, Colleen and Carl.
I'm not supposed to call out names, but I don't care. I got one. I'll tell you about that one. Okay. You want to do some power, or you want to do, Wes, you want to do a
then they can
commercial
see
first? Commercial first? Let's go with PowerPoint. Okay, let's go with PowerPoint.
Okay. So this is our company slogan. It's translated from the German Wollen, können, machen. Think it, believe it, achieve it. That's our philosophy, and it says it all right there.
Yeah.
Move on. Yeah, high tech for the mobility of today and tomorrow. That's a photograph of a robot in motion. We have a lot of robotics in the factory. We're really heavily involved in trying to automate a lot of our systems and cut down on our production time. So that's what that is. Let's roll through them quickly. That's our owner and fearless leader, Dr. Jürgen Herring, and his wife, Miriam. And one thing that needs to be said about the company is it's a family-owned and operated place. It's not a corporate business where you're just a number to these people. I've got contact with these folks. They're very, very nice people, and they've done a lot for us. They send their people on trips every once in a while. Every couple months, they'll send us on a nice trip somewhere. Dr. Jürgen, he races cars. He races Porsches, and he's invited us several times to his races. I went to a 24-hour race in Belgium that he raced in, and just a great couple of guys right there.
Well, now keep that in mind as we go through these slides. Keep that in mind that these folks own this company, and this is not you'll see all the factories, but these folks own this place.
Yep.
What we got here?
So that's an example of what our lines look like. Just sort of shows off the cleanliness of our factories, and we don't like to take a whole lot of photos of our processes because it's secret sort of information and industry information that you don't want getting out. But that's just an example of a couple rows of these machines, and anyone that knows anything about CNC machines maybe has heard of that particular type right there, Index, which is one of the brands that we utilize. That's we're not supposed to call out names, but I don't think they'll ever see this. So that's my good friend Stefan Dentz. He's one of my favorite Germans over there. He's done a lot for me actually since I've been there.
Which one?
The one on the left, my left.
Okay.
Not with the glasses.
Okay.
Yeah, that's old Stephanie's a good guy, and Li Hua Bin's also a great guy. He is one of our Chinese colleagues. He has been in Germany, I want to say, over 4 years. He speaks perfect German. He's still with us, and I'm assuming one day he'll go back to China and work there in our Chinese plant. This gives you a little overview of our locations. Bubsheim, Germany. Yeah, the factory's around 250 square feet, and we got about 800 employees working there. That's our headquarters. That's where most of the R&D stuff is done, as well as mass production.
All right, let's hear you say this next one.
I can't say. Piotrków Trybunalski. Yeah, it's Polish. It's not German. That's our Polish plant, and it's our biggest. It's huge. It's 540 square feet. It's massive. And we got the one in China, and it's a little bit smaller, but also very, very large. And the one in Livonia, which is actually a little larger than the 150 square feet. I think it's around 177 with room to expand.
177,000 square feet.
Yeah, with an additional 100,000 in the basement. And like I said, room to expand in the future should we need it.
And you know, the exterior walls of that place are made out of aluminum.
Yep.
It's just, there. Look, Philip, that's where you work.
Oh, yeah, that's, where's that? Yeah. Old Bubsheim. I was trying to see if I could pick anything. Yeah, that's old home sweet home.
Now, all right, tell everybody, when you go there, you live there. Now, this is on top of a mountain in southern Germany called Bubsheim, and when you work there, you also live there in one of those, I guess those are apartments or something, I don't know, but they're different places, I think, but you live up there, and you eat there. In the, what do they call it, dining hall? Right.
If you see towards the top center of the photograph, that's our canteen. I'm sorry, Miriam Herring, I apologize. It's no longer called the canteen, it's called Restaurant Antonis.
Okay.
It's a very nice cafeteria for their employees. It's restaurant quality. It's beautiful, actually. The architecture of the cafeteria is in itself a work of art. It's very good food there. Then if you see in the bottom left, that square building, you go back one more time. That's our academy that we were talking about, that we will receive one of those in America in the future. But yeah, that's Bubsheim. And there's our Polish plant. As you can see, it's very, very large.
And that's the biggest one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, it's huge. And it's going to be set up similarly to ours in America here in Livonia, also similar to the one in Bubsheim in China. We try to replicate the German style in each of the places that we build. There's China, similar to the others. You go on up. That's a rendering of the Livonia plant. It'll look similar to that. We actually have some more updated photos, but it's not completed yet. It's still under construction, so we don't want to show it off yet.
Yeah, when I was there today, I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't expect that. It's just, everything is planned. Every detail is planned. Everything will flow just perfectly. The trucks that come in with the supplies to unload drive into the building, unload in the building, and then drive out of the building on the other end. That's the wildest thing. It's just so nice. I can't tell you how nice it is. I want to go to work there myself, but I'm too old to learn.
One day, maybe. This couple little factoids. I mentioned earlier we produce 500,000 parts in Bubsheim alone. Got about 4,000 employees worldwide. The tools they're talking about there, the 100,000 tools, are part of the process of making these parts in these CNC machines. They require very specialized tools to cut into that metal and form the certain grooves and certain finishes and things. So we produce a lot of, not all of them, but we produce a lot of them in-house, which is something we're proud of. Yeah, 225 machines in Boobsheim, each of which is, you know, it's not a sewing machine like you're used to. It's a huge, massive work of engineering. Yeah, it's impressive.
And this is, I mean, I want to reemphasize even why we're doing this show. Doing it because this is my son, first of all, but no, because this is what the Industrial Building Authority has accomplished, getting these companies like this in, and that's why we're doing this tonight, is to show you how government can succeed. If you have good planning, you've got people that know what they're doing, it can succeed, and it has in this case. We got any more slides?
Nope. I'm sorry. Yeah, we do. Of course we do. It's a little information about the fairs we're going to. Tomorrow we'll be at the Franklin County High School, and I believe that's just open to students. So show up there if you're 30 like me. Then Saturday we will be at the Hart County Agri-Science Center from 10 to 2, and that's open to the public. We're not going to be the only company there. It's not exactly sure who all's going to be there, but if you want to learn more and talk to us and hand out a resume, you're welcome to stop by, and we'll have probably some candy there for you to munch on too.
All right, so they go to the Agri-Science Center from 10 to 2. I'd suggest going at 10, people. Get there early. And they will come up and talk to you folks, and y'all will do what? You'll tell them to fill out an application, or you'll tell them where to go to fill out an application, or what?
Right, yeah, they won't fill out an application directly there. They'll go to our website. It's www.anton-herring.com. Or you can go straight to the careers page, career.anton/herring.com, where you can navigate through the site. Our website's actually pretty cool and has a lot of additional information that we didn't go over. Or you can email us directly, info@us.anton-herring.com, and our HR representative will respond in a timely fashion. Shoot them your resume, shoot them an email, tell them what you're interested in, tell them what your life situation is. If you're in school, tell them when you graduate, and keep in touch with them. And like I said, this is a family-owned thing. This is not some corporate mega company where you send in your application and you never hear a word back from anyone. You'll definitely hear something back, and yeah, can't advise you enough if you're out there looking for a job to get in touch with us, because it's really changed my life and the lives of many others that I know. So
we'll talk a little bit more about this, but do we need to go to a break? Yep, I think I got behind. We'll go to a break, we'll come back and talk a little bit more about this stuff, and maybe a couple of homegrown things. Hang around.
Tom, I can't wait to see Gina's new store.
Lee, don't let me go overboard in here, please. Lee, she's got beautiful jewelry. She's got men's wallets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been looking for one.
Why don't you go ahead and get that and see what happens.
Tom, you need some t-shirts, man. Simply Southern. Look at all this.
Oh, yeah, man. I think I'll get a t-shirt, Lee. I think I'll get one.
Tom, they've got totes, monogrammed, insulated and uninsulated.
Yeah, man. I got to have this one. Lee, they've even got monogrammed handbags.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. I think your wife would like this one.
Sure. Tom, they even had a pet section. Pet deodorizers, pet scarves, clothes.
Leroy, they got strutting cotton, turn rose, and southern sipping t-shirts. Well, thank you, Leroy.
Tom, she's got a line of Bible covers, Bibles, Christian books, even books for kids.
And my favorite, the King James Version. That's the one that Moses read. Leroy, they got this spirit wear, Hart County stuff, Georgia Bulldogs, some Clemson stuff, and they got these neat towels.
For all of your gift-giving needs, visit G's Southern Traditions, located at 36 North Forest Avenue in downtown Hartwell. And we can monogram almost anything.
Well, looks like you did go a little crazy, didn't you?
Frankly, my friend, I don't give a.
The Hartwell Housing Authority features decent, safe, and sanitary housing for low-income families. Each of the 7 apartment complexes are located in the Hartwell city limits and feature 24-hour maintenance, landscaping, as well as 24-hour surveillance. You can choose apartments from 1 bedroom all the way up to 4 bedrooms. All apartments are periodically renovated and stoves and refrigerators are furnished. Gas, water, sewage, and garbage pickup are also included. The Hartwell Housing Authority. Applications may be picked up daily.
The unique thing about HTC is the fact that we get to live in the community that we serve. Not only do we see you on a daily basis when you come in to add new services or to pay your bill, but we see you at the grocery store. We go to church with you. Our kids go to school with your kids. Our family is your family, and it's that dynamic that really provides a special opportunity for us to interface with you on a level that our competitors simply can't provide. We are your family and your friends, and we're committed to serving this great community.
Okay, welcome back to Back Talk Live. Tom Hardigree and Philip Hardigree. How about that? That's got a good ring to it.
Sure does.
I got to tell you again, I keep talking about this, but I want you to understand because parents want the best for your children. It's just the way that the world works. Parents want their children to, be better than them and do better and all the rest. And as a dad, when Philip, we found out what was going to happen, that he was going to go to Germany for 3 years. I was like, whoa, that's my son. I won't see him much. And it's true. I didn't see him much. But, he'd come home once a year, and then I went over there, as I mentioned. But, I talked to him whenever he will answer his phone. I get to talk to him. I get to send messages through the Facebook Messenger and all that kind of stuff. But that part was bad, but the good part was better than the bad part was bad. The good part was that Philip was over there on top of a mountain in southern Germany, and frankly, nowhere else to go. You can't just walk off the mountain. You're up on the mountain. You're there. And because of Philip's personality, when Philip gets into something, he gets into it. And he got into this German thing. I think on Saturday mornings you go to German class, and he started learning this German. He called me one day and he said, "Dad, now you thought I was good on guitar when I came over here, but you ought to hear me now." He said, the part of your brain that learns languages also learns music. Now, he may or may not be right about that, but I guess he is. But anyway, he can wear out an electric guitar, but he got into learning German. And yes, I can imagine, because I just can't imagine learning a foreign language. I don't do very well with English, but he did that. And as a dad, it makes me very proud. And you, as a mom or a dad, if your kid is going to go over there, you're going to be proud. Philip got into this, this work thing, and he is just really, that's just what he loves now. He loves all of this stuff that Herring does. I mean, what you're doing is if you go over there, now not everybody's going to have to go. You go apply. You may not be signing up to go to Germany. You might be signing up to work here and go to the academy here or whatever, however they do it. But if you go over there, moms, dads, if your kid goes over there, it's a good thing. I'm telling you, it's a good thing. He said, so, Philip, now let me just say this. He may not tell you this, but he's gone a lot of places. He was talking to me one night. He called me, and he was on top of the Eiffel Tower. For Easter, he wanted to go and see Notre Dame on Easter Sunday. So while he was there, I think it was Friday night, he had his phone and he was showing me all around Paris from atop the Eiffel Tower. We hung up and I went to bed. I was saying, oh, I love, And then the next day he calls, he broke his ankle when he got down off that tower. So, not all good, but he got to see that. He told me, he said, when he got to how do you say, where they got the Mona Lisa, the Louvre, whatever it is, that place where they got the Mona Lisa. He went there and told me he wanted to see the Mona Lisa, but he had a broken foot. They put him in a wheelchair, took him to see the Mona Lisa, cleared everybody else out of the way, took his picture, whisked him back. When we went to the airport, he was in a wheelchair. I took him up to his plane, and he told me, he says, "Dad, if you ever go to any museums or airports, you need to be in a wheelchair." But you've done that. You had great times all over Europe, really. Your company's taken you to, as you said, the races and various things, and you've done some things on your own.
Yeah, I've been lots of places, and I'm real thankful for it. I always have a weird feeling when I come back home for Christmas and I'm talking to people. I always feel like I'm sort of bragging sometimes, or acting like, I'm a world-traveled guy, which I still don't feel like. I'm still an American, and I always will be, and I'm not pretending to be anything other than that. But the fact is, that's what I've been doing for the past 3.5 years, is going to cool places and experiencing different cultures. And, you could sit around here doing the same thing you've been doing, or maybe, move an hour away and do something similar, or you can put yourself in a completely different world and see places that most people spend thousands of dollars and get to see for a couple days, and that's it. Where we are in Germany, it's right in the center of Europe, so you can drive an hour and a half and be in Switzerland. 2 hours, you're in the thick of the Alps, beautiful area. You can drive a couple hours, you're in France. One time we drove to Amsterdam with 9 people in a van. It's uncomfortable, but we did it. And if you can't drive there, you can fly there, and it takes no time at all to get anywhere.
And airfare is pretty reasonable.
It is. It depends on when you book the flight, of course, but there's flights anywhere from 50 euros to, if you book right before your trip, you might spend 200, but round trip. But yeah, they're affordable, especially if you save, and if you always have something to look forward to while you're over there, you'll never get bored. If you know, okay, in a couple months I'm going to be laying on the beach in Barcelona, or going to Prague and having a big time. If you know you're always going to be doing something, the time goes by quickly, and you're just excited all the time. So it's traveling is really my favorite part of the whole experience. Well, I guess my favorite part is having the career, but aside from that, the traveling is really outrageous.
Well, it's unbelievable to me, and moms and dads, I'm telling you, take advantage of this kind of thing. Your local government, your local industrial building authority has gone to a lot of trouble to get this company here, and other companies too. And you need to take advantage of it, because this is one of those things that you just come along once in a lifetime, really. And you may be like me and too old. I can't go to Germany and learn to speak another language and do all that stuff. I'm just too old. But if you happen to be the right age and in the right situation, man, I'm telling you, you need to do it. You just need to do it. Take my advice. Now, I wanted to ask you, but we need to do the last commercial break. But we'll come back. I want to ask you a little bit about the benefits that you are afforded by working for Herring. Well, we'll be right back.
On the Trane test range, you learn what makes our heating and cooling systems so reliable. If there's a breaking point, we'll find it. It's hard to stop a Trane. Really hard.
Remember, McGee Heating and Air. Comfort you can count on. It's hard to stop a Trane.
Protect yourself or your loved ones with a personal emergency response system from HTC. Knowing that your loved one can quickly reach help will give everyone more peace of mind. For just $5.99 a month, you can lease the equipment, and 24-hour monitoring costs just $19.99. The personal home safety system includes a wristband or pendant and two-way voice for instant emergency access. Live independently with a personal emergency response system from HTC. Technology you need, people you can trust.
Welcome back to Back Talk Live with Tom Hardigree and Philip Hardigree. He's my co-host tonight. I got to tell you that I am in the real estate business. I want to make sure I bring that up because I need to sell, houses and farms and lots and that sort of thing. It's rewarding to be in the real estate business. Not just the money part. I mean, you got to make a living, but it's rewarding to help people get to that final place. It's not easy. I mean, you go through these things. You have to have amendments, and everything can happen. No two houses are alike. No two properties are alike, and no two set of problems are alike. You're dealing with people, for one thing, that makes things a little bit weird sometimes. But not only that, you're dealing with different vendors, different properties, different problems with houses and all. You have to wade through all that stuff. But what happens is you get to help people do it. And that really is, makes it worth something to me, more than just making a living. It makes it worth something. Anyway, I've rabbled on too much, but call me if you have any real estate needs. I'd like to help you. And I got one that says, darn, I wish I was not old. Well, too bad, because you are. And I got one that, great to see you and your son together. I know you must be proud. You just don't know. And another one, pretty impressive, Bubba. And I wanted to tell you, I think next week, I'm pretty sure, Mike Gordon is coming on sometime. I can't remember when, but I do know this. On December 13, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to play golf with some of my buds. One of my buds, actually, and his buds. I don't think the other ones like me too much, but one of my buds has invited me to go, and we're going to Pinehurst, North Carolina, to play golf a few days. So Mike Gordon is going to do Back Talk Live by his own self. That the 13th, I believe, of December. So y'all be praying for Mike. And he might be on next week. I can't remember. I can't remember things too. I can't remember things. I had a guy named Teddy. I think he works at the Huddle House. I'm not sure. I'm not positive about that. But he told me his name twice. I can't remember names. I just can't do it. But Teddy said he likes to watch Back Talk Live, and he especially likes the commercials. And I'm going to make some new ones, Teddy. Thank you. Charles Ray stopped and talked to me one day and paid me some great compliments. I appreciate it. And then Gary Donnell saw me at the Dairy Queen. I was talking to him at the Dairy Queen. He said, I've had people before that see me talking to you, and they say, well, why are you talking to that dumb goober? And he says, I tell him, he's not a goober. So anyway, back to the herring business. Benefits. What kind of benefits do you get if you work for herring?
Yeah, well, you get the normal stuff. Competitive salary, 401k.
401k is big.
Health coverage. And aside from that, like I said, there's lots of intangibles like the travel, the language. I'm sure lots of people would pay a whole lot of money if they could just, zap a language into their brain, but you can't. And you really can't learn one sitting in America. Even if you use Rosetta Stone and you try real hard, you're not going to do it. Mm-hmm. Unless you're just a genius, I guess. You have to be immersed in it. And that's in my opinion, one of the most valuable things you can take away from this program is learning that language. And it really changes the way you think about your own language too, which I find to be a great benefit. But as far as, normal 401k, health coverage, we're offering that. Your wages, your salary, whatever it may be, will be competitive, obviously.
Well, it's been a good thing. It's been a good thing, Philip. Sure has. And look, I want to tell you this now. There's this really nice woman that came over here too. Her name is Ramona Leibold. I think I got it right. I've just been calling her Ramona. I don't call her Mrs. Leibold or Leibold or whatever it is, but whatever it is. Really nice young lady, really pretty young lady. she came with Philip, and they will be tomorrow at the Franklin County School, but you don't need to worry with that one. But Saturday at 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, you need to go to the Ag Center, the Agri-Science Center, high school, the Bowman Highway, the one that I talk about all the time. You need to go to that. That's where this thing is going to be, and you need to meet Philip and Ramona and go over this stuff now, because it's going to be, listen to me, I want you to be out of there by 2. At 2 o'clock, leave, because Philip and I have to go to watch the Dogs play Alabama at my daughter's house in Sandy Springs, and the game starts at 4. So I don't want anybody lollygagging around.
Me neither. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs, that's right. So anything else, Philip, that you can think that I forgot to mention?
There's one thing I forgot to mention, and I wanted to say before I leave, and that is I have a lot of my success. I've got to thank a man named Andreas Gretz. He is my department leader, and he's taught me almost everything I know, and I just have to say thank you, Andreas, on American television. Du bist der Beste.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, is there anything you can just tell us in German?
Ja, wir können den ganzen Tag auf Deutsch sprechen, wenn du willst, aber du verstehst gar nichts, was ich sage.
Well, you can talk, you can rattle on in German just as well as you can rattle on in American.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but gets the job done.
Well, I can't tell if it is or not, but but it's wild to me. My son knows how to speak German. All right, we're done with that. I want you to do what I told you to do, children and mamas. Don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys, but let them grow up to be industrialists. This is a good chance for you. So go to this job fair. And look, here's another thing. If you can't do any better, I'm on here every Thursday. My phone number's here. You can call me, and I'll tell you what to do to go work there or anywhere else, as a matter of fact. This was so interesting, and he is such a cutie, just like you. Well,
you're sweet. Whoever said that.
Thank you, darling. Let's see. Oh yeah, and I got this one earlier on. If you get a chance at the end of the show, I want to commend the Hartwell Police Department for the professional and courteous service of 2 officers tonight, Officers Ed Starks and Rick Carter. They make it easy to support the men and women in blue. I have no idea what they did tonight, but I trust this back talker, and so thank you very much, officers, and all of you guys for what you do. There that is. So I guess that would about do it. I think next week, maybe, I don't know what I'm doing next week, but come on and we'll find out. We'll have some fun together. You can call in. Look, this has been fun. And this has been a little more positive than I normally like to do things, but it's been fun, and I've enjoyed it. There are some people that I want to thank, and I want you to thank, the Dairy Queen. The Dairy Queen. They've been supporting this thing since day one. I want you to, and McGee Heating and Air, same deal. I want you to support them. I know it's a little bit cool to think about air conditioning, but your heaters, get them checked. Call McGee Heating and Air, get them checked. Hartwell Housing Authority. You know what? Buddy Spears is about the best guy in Hart County. He's the hardest working guy I think I've ever met. Herring Gutter and Insulation. Now they can do it. They can do it, people. They can do it. They can even cut your wood up and take it off. And G's Southern Tradition. And, if you want anything that's got anything to do with Hartwell, Lake Hartwell, Georgia Bulldogs, maybe some other colleges, some lesser colleges, I don't know. You need to go to G's Southern Traditions because Gina is one fine woman. Thank you very much for watching tonight, and we'll see you next week. And we'll do something. I don't know what it'll be. We'll do something.